A very warm welcome to you as you join us on today's episode of Tax Matters. My name is Olumuyiwa Matuloko. Presenting with me on this episode is Tobiloba Kujore.
Hello viewers.
2 weeks ago, precisely Thursday the 28th and Friday the 29th of July, the top management of the Federal Revenue Service was in Abakaliki, Ebonyi State at the regional enlarged management meeting of the Southeast formations of the FIRS, covering 5 states and 10 integrated tax offices. We have brought you the first part of that story on the last episode of Tax Matters. 2 weeks later, now talking about Thursday the 11th and Friday the 12th of August, the train moved to Ilorin, Kwara State for the regional enlarged management meeting of the Western Region operations of the Federal Revenue Service, this time covering 6 states and 12 integrated tax offices. That will be our story on today's episode of Tax Matters.
But before then, let's share something with our viewers. On the eve of the regional enlarged management meeting, that is Wednesday, 10th August 2011, the Federal Executive Council,
that's the Council of Ministers,
yes, under the leadership of President Goodluck Jonathan, awarded a 450 million naira contract for the re-engineering and automation of the finance and account function of the FIRS.
In our bid to understand what that is all about and to pass that understanding to you, we spoke to the then acting chairman of the FIRS, Mr. Osi Chuke.
The project is what we call our finance and accounts re-engineering and automation project. Essentially what it is aiming at is to modernize that finance and accounts function such that we will become more professional, more efficient, more transparent in the handling of the expenditure side of the business. As you know, FIRS also is subject to appropriated expenditure. That is to say, the money we use to run the administration is approved by the National Assembly. So this project aims at improving our finance and accounts processes, modernizing them and bringing information and communication technology to bear on them so that we can be more timely in rendering our statutory post-annual reports as required under the FIRS Establishment Act. For the taxpayer, it's beneficial because these monies we are spending as appropriated by the National Assembly is taxpayers' money. So taxpayer is benefited because we are now putting it to a very more efficient use. Also, because taxpayers are also doubling as contractors to us, a more efficient finance and accounts function will be more timely in meeting payment obligations to them.
Welcome back. Now to the story of the Western Regional Enlarged Management Meeting of the Federal Revenue Service, which was held in Ilorin, the Kwara State capital, on Thursday, the 11th of August, 2011. In his welcome address, Mr. S.S. Ogungbeson, the Coordinating Director, Tax Operation Group, the group that supervises the foot soldiers, the men and women who collect taxes at the various integrated tax offices and the large tax offices, commended the Kwara State government for its diligence in fulfilling its tax obligations and in the prompt remittance of taxes deducted at source.
The state government has always been a partner with the Federal Inland Revenue Service. Your Excellency, your predecessor was really a pillar of support. Up to the moment, we've never had cases of non-remittance of prompt tax payment. Last year, when we did a reconciliation and discovered some huge arrears of taxes, you were the first out of the 36 state government to quickly pay up your arrears with a pledge that going forward, you will not allow remittances to fall due, and you've kept faith with this promise. Thank you very much, sir. This meeting normally provides a forum for briefing our staff on management programs and policies, which will promote understanding as well as enhance staff productivity in the realization of our corporate mission and objectives. It also allows staff to have instant feedback from management on diverse issues affecting their welfare. The theme of this meeting is achieving compliance through taxpayer education. We've since realized the need for empowerment of our field officers to be able to effectively manage taxpayer enlightenment and education as a way of narrowing the compliance gap. We note on a daily basis the large number of taxpayers around us who may be unaware of their duties and obligations under the respective tax laws and who daily conduct the business without the knowledge of tax officials. Our response has always been to treat all of them as incorrigible or people who would never want to pay taxes. But experience has shown that it is not so. Many of them are ignorant. Information is power. If you don't have the right information, you cannot do proper assessment on any taxpayer. You are also taxpayers. So it's become important now for us to focus on taxpayer enlightenment and education. It's the only way that we can improve the level of compliance in the country.
Mr. Alsichuke, who you just saw in that interview, was at the head of the FIRS team on behalf of the Executive Chairman, Mrs. Ifeko Kauru.
I want to use this platform to again emphasize the importance of tax revenue to the national development and therefore the need for voluntary compliance and a positive tax culture in the country. Indeed, the entire modernization project of the service, encompassing the use of information and communication technology to integrate the core tax models, our records management automation initiative, the HR engineering and automation initiative, the finance and accounts re-engineering and automation initiative, the contract of which was approved just yesterday by the Federal Executive Council, the re-engineering of our facility management and procurement, and the U-Team project being spearheaded by the Joint Tax Board, and all the other initiatives aim at simplifying the system, making it more transparent, more efficient, and effective for all.
The Kwara State Governor, Alhaji Abdul Fattah Ahmed, was represented by the Secretary to the Kwara State Government, Alhaji Isiaka Shola Gold.
The choice of our state, I'm rightly told, is informed by the fact that the state government is upright in its remittances of all statutory deductions due to the FIRS, and the FIRS in Ilorin Integrated Tax Office is also meeting its target. Kwara State acknowledges the excellent performances of FIRS under the able leadership of our dear sister, Mrs. Okaru, who is a very good friend of the state. We sincerely hold the FIRS in very high esteem and promise that we will continue to remit all statutory deductions promptly, and in addition, encourage all agencies of government and the local governments to do the same.
The member representing the Southwest on the board of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Professor Folani Shillon, was in attendance at the Regional Enlarged Management Meeting. Opening ceremony over, the REM went into an intellectual session. Several papers were presented, followed by a question and answer session, syndicate group discussions, and presentation of reports.
Mrs. Gloria Iwuji, Director Small and Medium Taxpayers Department 2, presented the scorecard for the Western region for the period January to June 2011. The Western region of the FIRS covers 6 states and 12 integrated tax offices.
As at June ending half year, the region recorded 58.87%. We can see that the highest contributors are Ilorin, our host, who is the second highest contributor, even though the rating as per target given is just 54%, and Iwo Road, who is the highest contributor at 1.315 billion naira, and has against his target a rating of 83%. What I am reporting here is all taxes collection down the years. And the figures we are seeing is saying that a lot of taxes from mere observation, especially VAT, is still left out there. By the time you look at the next slide, which tells us how much outstanding arrears we still have as of July 2011, which totals 3.968 billion naira, broken down into companies income tax, education tax, then withholding taxes and VAT for the states and local government, you will see that a lot of taxes, even from those who are already in the basket, in the tax net, is also extremely high. So getting people, everybody, because for a tax system to be credible, we need to bring in almost everybody. And we need to, majority should be in the tax net, so that the man who is complying will not look around him and say, why should I continue paying? The next one isn't paying.
Toby, you know that this regional enlargement meeting is ordinarily an internal affair of the FRS, aimed essentially at stock taking, strategizing for the future, and above all, building the capacity of staff.
You are right, but in all of this, there is so much for the taxpayer. For example, when a staff member asks a question and answers are given by resource persons or top management, the staff becomes better enlightened, more efficient and productive at work. This can be of great benefit to the taxpayer.
Oh yes, for example, this one on microfinance banks and value-added tax.
My first question is this. We are aware in the offices that there's a change in the community banks to microfinance banks. That happened about 3 years ago. But we are yet to have any tax circulars on their tax positions, because we believe that that change in name may have affected a lot of things pertaining to the taxes they are supposed to pay.
So when they were community banks, they were still filing returns to FRS and they were paying taxes. So that as a change in name doesn't make any difference. Just hold on. The only difference is in respect of VAT. When it was community bank, because government wanted to promote community banks, people bank and whatever, it says the services rendered to their customers should not attract VAT. Only to their customers. They shouldn't charge VAT from the customers. It then say that what the community bank does with other agencies or consultants should not attract VAT. Now that they have now metamorphosed into microfinance bank, which is purely doing business like the other commercial banks, but supporting the small businesses, they have come forward to us wanting to use the platform of exemption they had on the VAT before, and we said, no, you can do that. You now have to charge VAT from your customers. Remember, they provide services. They are just like other banks, providing services to individuals or to corporate entities. So they are required to charge VAT from them now and remit to us. But as for companies' income tax status,